You're tuned in to the Tithing Hoax podcast, where we offer teachings, commentary, and insights about false tithing doctrines and the prosperity gospel. Three reasons why prosperity preachers use outlandish rituals. That's today's topic. But before we get into that, let's get into this. Today's podcast is sponsored by the Amazon best-selling book, The Tithing Hoax, exposing the lies, misinterpretations, and false teachings about tithing. Inside this book, you'll discover the truth about tithes the church doesn't want you to know. Free yourself from the tithe deception. Get your copy of The Tithing Hoax today on Amazon.com and wherever books are sold. Hey, this is your girl, Renee. Thank you so much for tuning in to the latest episode of the Tithing Hoax podcast. Today's topic is 3 reasons why prosperity preachers use outlandish rituals. There are prosperity preachers who will do just about anything for fame, money, and power. One of these things is using over-the-top antics. These acts range from raising people from the dead to having church members take money baths in a river to get rich. One critic called these behaviors outlandish rituals. But why do men of God, quote unquote, go to such lengths to appeal to God's people? Well, I have a few reasons why. And they all have to do with spiritual entertainment, misguided faith, and ego-driven ambition. Let's get into it. Many believers equate extreme religious acts with a move of God. These antics appear as supernatural events. When these preachers conduct themselves in this way, it captures people's imaginations. It's like spiritual entertainment or pseudo-spiritual entertainment because these things aren't spiritual. But they use these antics to draw people to them and persuade them to pay them tithes and offerings. Because these are so-called men of God, believers assume these antics are legit, and the preachers are acting under the Most High's authority. The modern-day church suppresses the intellect. That's one reason why many churchgoers don't question their religious leaders and their flashy practices. Many Christians see everything through a lens of faith with little regard for intellect. Yes, the Bible teaches us to walk by faith and not by sight in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. But Father Yah also gave us the ability to think, reason, and use logic. Unfortunately, today's church prefers blind faith over common sense thinking. The result? Many Christians become victims of prosperity preachers. They simply believe anything these preachers say or do is God ordained. And these prosperity preachers take advantage of unsuspecting Christians. They know the more outlandish their behaviors, the more godly they appear in the eyes of believers. So it makes these preachers look more credible in a weird sort of way. Plus, these over-the-top acts appeal to people's emotions. For example, seeing a preacher supposedly casting out demons is thrilling, engaging, and exciting on some level. And these feelings fuel their followers' faith, which reinforces their belief that the pastor really is a man of God. So the combination of anti-intellectualism, misguided faith, and emotionalism work in favor of these preachers. That results in believers viewing them as real men of God. So here's the third reason why prosperity preachers use outlandish rituals. It has to do with competition. Competition drives some prosperity preachers to engage in odd religious tricks. In fact, some preachers compete with one another. Many of them have huge egos. They have goals of being the most powerful, influential, and wealthy pastors in their city, state, or nation. They strive to have the most prominent church and the largest congregation. But here's the catch. There can only be one person at the top at one time. Many of these ambitious preachers want that top spot, and they'll do whatever they can to become the HPIC, head preacher in charge. And this includes using deceptive religious antics to fool God's people into following them and supporting them with tithes and offerings. So let's recap. Why do prosperity preachers resort to outlandish religious acts such as raising the dead, casting out demons, or conducting money bath rituals? I point out 3 reasons. 1, there's what I call spiritual entertainment. These are 2 things churchgoers enjoy most: a demonstration of the supernatural and entertainment. The most outrageous prosperity preachers entertain their congregations with bizarre religious antics. In turn, the preachers get what they want: tithes and offerings. 2, the supernatural, quote-unquote, theatrics give preachers a sense of credibility. These preachers use, quote-unquote, miracle gimmicks as proof that they are true men of God. But here's the irony. The more outlandish the behavior, the more believers think they're following a man of God. So believers trust them. Because of this, they have no problem giving that preacher their money. Finally, many prosperity preachers have big egos. They thirst for money, power, and status. And some will do whatever it takes to reach high levels of success, even if it means deceiving God's people with ridiculous rituals, antics, and activities. There you have it. 3 reasons why prosperity preachers engage in outlandish religious acts. If you enjoyed today's Tithing Hoax podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Renee. Thank you for listening and be blessed.